Hey, what's up everyone? Fuzzy Juggernaut here. Today I'm going to be showing you some quick and easy builds and setups for your Magicka Nightblade. These builds are a lot of fun, they hit really hard, and there's good survivability on them. Magicka Nightblade is one of my favorite characters, and I always enjoy playing him. So if you like Magicka Nightblade, make sure you watch the whole video so you can check out the sets. But first, before we get into the builds, if you like the video or the content on the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button and push the notification bell to get the latest content and videos that come out. Now we'll get back into the build. So, to start it off, let's go into the character sheet. We are a Dark Elf on the Magblade. We're sitting at 33,000 Magicka with 1,700 Magicka recovery. We have 23,000 health and 766 health recovery, and then we have 12,200 stamina and 633 stamina recovery. This is all unbuffed. Our spell damage is sitting at 2,500, and we're sitting at 59.2% spell critical. And our resistances are low, but we're not really too worried about that due to some of the skills we have on our bar, and we're running Shadowy Disguise, so you'll be in cloak you'll be in stealth most of the time. So those are sitting at 12,800 and 10,065. Our critical resistances are at 2,526. This is due to us running a lot of Divine on our build. We have 64 points into Magicka. I'm running the Shadow for increased critical damage. I am a Vampire stage 1. You can go 2 so you get a little more damage when you come out of stealth, but I found it's really not worth it, because your resources end up costing more for your abilities and everything else, so it's less resources you're getting. We are running Clockwork Citrus Fillet. You can run Bewitched Sugar Skulls or Witch Mother's Potent Brew or whatever you'd like. I just like Clockwork Citrus as it gives us good resource pool in the health and the Magicka and recoveries for those. Bewitched Sugar Skulls is really good too if you're not too worried on the sustain part of it. I like the perma stealth on this, so I go with the Clockwork Citrus Fillet. So we'll go back into stealth real quick, see where we're sitting at. So this is in stealth, still not buffed up. We're at 2756 spell damage with 59.2% spell critical. So our spell damage will actually go up to 4,000 with the weapon damage enchantment on our Resto Staff on our back bar, along with degeneration, and then if you get a resource or take the keeps and get those buffs also. So you can push this pretty high for a Magblade, which is really nice, and having the sustainability and that damage is overall like one of the best things ever. But for the most part, this build hits extremely hard even without a couple of those buffs. In the videos, I run 2 different sets and was trying multiple things out, so all those videos are me trying everything out, and half the time my damages weren't even buffed up fully, and I was still annihilating people. So we'll go into the inventory real quick. So the first set we're running is Inferno Staff of Torag's Pact. You want it infused. I have shock damage on here. I did try disease damage for the minor defile because I have points into that, and then also with our ulti, but shock was just doing overall more damage. These builds are actually just templates, so you can actually run what you would like on here. The shock damage was just nice with the fire staff, and it's infused, and like I said, Torag's Pact. This is what the set does for us, so it gives us max spell damage, max health, and then max armor. And then the main important part of the Torag's Pact is decrease weapon enchantment cooldown and increases non-oblivion damage enchantment potency by 30%. So this is already hitting really hard, but this is actually getting a huge buff in the next patch coming out soon. So it's going to hit even harder, and our cooldowns are going to be less, which will be nice. I don't have any poisons on here right now because I ran out of them, but you can put whatever poisons you would like to use. I ran half the time without the poisons on here and it still did fine. So Restoration Staff of Torag's Pact is going to be our second right here. Does the same thing. You want this also infused because this is going to increase our weapon damage with the weapon damage enchantment, and then you get this back a lot faster, cooldowns a lot less, which is really nice, so meaning it procs more often, giving you that high weapon damage bonus. For our monster helm, we're running Slime Crawls, guys. Now you can run Balorgs. I've ran both on there. I actually didn't have the clips with the Balorgs in there, but it does really well too, especially since all the passives for the Nightblade and the ones we're using on our bars and the abilities that we have too, we get our ulti back super quick, and so you're able to pump out ultis left and right, and using the Balorgs will give you a little more spell damage and a lot more penetration. But ultimately, I just wanted to go for a lot of spell crit, so I went with the Slime Craw. This one's infused. Preferably, you'd probably like to have it Divines or in Pen. So this is going to give us spell crit, and then it's going to give us gain minor berserk at all times, increasing your damage done by 8%. Then our chest piece is going to be Julianus. This is our second set. I have this as heavy. This is the only heavy piece I have on here. The rest are all light. You can go too heavy if you'd like, but you'll lose out on a little bit of spell damage, and a little bit of crit, and a little bit of recovery. This is Divines, Max Magicka Enchant on here. So this is going to give us max spell crit, max Magicka, max spell crit, and then 293 spell damage. Both these sets are craftable, and I think Torok's Pack's only like a 3 trait to craft, and Julianus is only 6. So it's super easy to get. Now I also use a different set on here too. The other way you can go is War Maiden, which will be really good for next patch also. And some of the clips I was wearing War Maiden. I had a little less spell critical, but my damage was good. And ultimately in the next patch I might end up using this because the buff it's going to be getting is 600 spell damage instead of the 400, which will be really nice. So it might be even more viable than this. Or you can use Clarions also if you want. It's completely up to you. I just like the Julianos. This is easy. You can craft this for people that don't have access to the other sets and stuff. And War Maiden's Overland set also. So they're all pretty easy to obtain besides Clarions. But this set overall is really nice, and it boosts our critical with giving us some Magicka sustain, and then it also giving us some spell damage. It's overall gives us a little bit of a stat pool in everywhere. And then this is just the Slime Craw shoulders, Divines, Max Magicka Enchant. So we got the full set of Slime Craw. And then Torok's Pack belt. This one's impenetrable. Preferably you can make them all Divines. It is nice to have some in pen, but it's up to you. Regular enchant of Magicka, not maxed out. Then we got gloves of the Torok's Pact. Impenetrable. I have a Tri-Stat glyph from another build. I just haven't changed it. And then breeches of Julianus. So we got the pants, light, Divines, and then Divines, Julianus shoes. Like I said, I just haven't changed some of the enchantments. I just sort of threw this together and been playing with it. Then we have 2-piece Julianus on the jewelry. You can mix match all this how you want. Doesn't really matter because it's all craftable. We have infused spell damage, and then we have a Ring of Torok's Pact, and this is infused with Magicka recovery, so it puts us at a higher recovery for our resources. Also, before I forget, go over the pots that I use. It's just a standard Essence of Health pot, so Tri-Stat pots. Whatever Tri-Stat pots you have, use those. Work really well since we're getting our spell damage from other areas. You don't really need the other spell pots or any of that stuff, so just make sure you get the Tri-Stats. Our first skill is Merciless Resolve. I'm just trying to go through these sort of quick so you can pause it and read what they do. The second one's going to be Inner Light. The third's going to be Shadow to Disguise. Now I have this on both bars. Reason being is because Cyrodiil's so lagged out right now, it's ridiculous. And pretty much this is one of our main life sources to get away from anything if we're caught out in the open. And if you can't get to your back bar, which half the time I can't because my abilities are lagging and it just, I don't know, Cyrodiil's ridiculous right now. So I put it on both bars, but preferably if it was in a normal world of Cyrodiil, then you could take this off and put on anything else you'd like, more damage. So we'll go for, let's see here. You could put on Mass Hysteria if you needed it, or I would normally put on Lotus Fan, so I can just, it's a gap closer, allows me to close the gap real quick, to put an Execute on them. Even though our Execute hits pretty far away, it allows you to gap close and put Soul Harvest on them too. So, but you could put whatever you'd like. Our next one's going to be Swallow Soul. This is a really good ability. You're going to stack this with your light attacks too. Weaving in and out with that, and then the Merciless Resolve after 5 light attacks, you're going to hit the Spectral Bow, which will hit him for a lot of damage. Impel is going to be our execute. This does a lot of damage. It's really good, and it hits really far away at 36 meters. So I personally love having this. Plus, having the 3 assassination abilities on here increases our critical and our damage and everything. So I recommend it, but if you don't, you can put something else here if you want. Then our ulti is going to be Soul Harvest. This ability is really good because it puts Major Defile on the target, reducing their healing. The stack's really nice with the champion points and Befoul, so you can put points into there. And then also gives you ulti, and it does a good amount of damage. And it increases the damage they take by 20% for 6 seconds. Now for our back bar, which will be our healing bar and our escaping bar. Go over, our first ability is going to be Degeneration, and this is going to give us our major sorcery to buff up for our spell damage. Our second ability is going to be Rapid Regeneration. This is our heal. Unbuffed, we're sitting at 20,000 health over 5 seconds, which is pretty nice. It goes up even higher than that when we're fully buffed up. Then we got Shadowy Disguise. Like I said, I have it on both bars because of the lag in Cyrodiil. It's sort of a pain sometimes. Can't bar swap and other things. Abilities lagging. It's completely up to you. You can take it off either bar you want. I would suggest taking it off the front bar and putting another damage ability up there, or siphoning ability, whatever you want. It's completely up to you, but this is how I'm running it right now. Then we're running Channeled Acceleration. This is going to increase our critical damage by 10% for 36 seconds, which is nice. And then it also gives us Major Expedition, which allows us to run really fast and sprint and stealth. With this build, like I was saying earlier, it's a perma-stealth. Like, we can stay in stealth forever. That's how I run this build. And it's really nice being able to just constantly be in stealth and then just hit people with mass amount of damage and then stealth back up and then come back in and hit them again or kill them, whatever you got to do. Allows you to take on multiple opponents and while not getting caught. Then our final ability is going to be Concealed Weapon. This is just on here pretty much for the movement speed that we get while we're in stealth. So it's really nice. This also stacked with these 2 abilities, Channel Acceleration and Concealed Weapon, and with the Vampire passives in there, we get crazy amount of speed while we're in stealth. So we can run really, really fast and stay in stealth for a very long amount of time also. And then our final ability is going to be Soul Tether. This is just pretty much for the healing on the back bar that we get from the siphoning ability passives. So you can put whatever you'd like on here. I just like, because in the passives it gives us, where is it? It increases our max Magicka while it's slotted also, and then increased healing done by 3% for each siphoning ability slotted. So it gives us a little bit of increased healing, which is nice. Go into the champion points real quick. So I got 40 into Warlord, 1 into Siphoner, 9 into Sprinter, 75 into Arcanist, 32 into Mooncalf, 44 into Befoul, 23 into Shade. The reason I have this in here is because this allows us to perma-stealth for long periods of time, so we don't really have to worry about wasting all of our resources while we're in stealth. It's really handy and it's really nice to have. You don't have to put points into here if you don't want to. These are just how I run my champion points. Like I said, this whole thing is just a template. Everyone has different play styles and likes to run their champion points in different ways, so put your champion points wherever you'd like. I'm just showing you how I'm running mine. We have 23 into Shadow Ward, 23 into Tumbling. I think I went over Befoul, but we have 44 into Befoul. Elfborn, we have 66. Elemental Expert, we have 56. Spell Erosion, we have 53 for the penetration. 23 into Staff Expert, since we're using Torag's Pact, and a lot of our damage is also coming from our light attacks. This is sort of important. You could stack even more points into here if you wanted to. This is just how I have it set up. 72 into Master at Arms for 23%. And then we have 72 into Ironclad. 30 into Resistances, just to boost that critical resistance up a little bit, since we're running a lot of Divine. 49 into Hardy, 49 into Elemental Expert, 51 into Thick Skin. You can take a lot of these out and put them into other areas, since we are in stealth a lot, but the times that you do get caught out of stealth, or they pull you out, or CC you and whatever, it does make it nice. It allows you to take quite a bit of damage and then be able to get back into stealth. But like I said, it's completely up to you. If you want to take some of these points out, you can, and put them in other areas. Then we got 19 into quick recovery. So you can move them around how you see fit. And that's it for the champion points. I think I covered everything. If I missed anything, just let me know. Sorry, I was trying to keep the video short. If you have any questions or any of that stuff, like I said, just let me know in the comments below. I appreciate everyone stopping by and checking out the video. I hope you all have a good day. Peace.